We are live. Nebraska gets it done in a sloppy, ugly display of football against Michigan State, but nonetheless, a win is a win, 38-27. We're going to be very honest in this show today because while it was a victory, and like we say on the channel all the time, we're not going to complain about a victory ever. Okay? I'm never going to be the one who, after a win, we're talking about all the bad things that happened and only that. Like, we're talking about the positives too, but at the exact same time, we need to discuss the negatives because this offensive line, this wide receiver core, Dylan Raiola did not have the best day. We have to be very honest today in this live stream today because, again, it was good, but there was a lot of bad. And honestly, I told you guys this morning, but I told you guys all week long, this is arguably going to be one of Nebraska's most important games that we look back on throughout the end of the year. Not because Michigan State's the best team. I want to set this framework very early. Michigan State is a poor football team. They have a lot of flaws. They do not have a lot of talent. You saw that today. Okay? They have a quarterback who, while he's dual threat, while he can make plays with his legs, he's a liability throwing the football. They do not have talent at running back. They do not have talent on the offensive line. They certainly don't have talent on defense. So I want that to be at the focal point of this conversation today. Yes, did Nebraska win? Yes, did we win by 11 points? But Michigan State's not a very good football team. They're going to win probably 5-4 at the very best, maybe 6 if everything goes right. We should have won by 11. So let's start off with the good. Let's start off with the things that we're excited about going forward, going into Maryland, going into getting Minnesota, Northwestern, a very tough stretch. Sorry about the wind, by the way, man. It is windy in Lincoln, Nebraska. Hold on, I'm just going to let the wind pass real quick. Okay, start off with the good. Number one, this defensive line deserves an apology. Had a really, really good performance today. And it was a multitude of players, whether it was an Elijah Judy, he played very well. He had a sack in there. Wilson had a good day. Deshaun Pola had a good day. Cameron Lenhard finally got off the milk cart and got a big sack to pretty much put it on ice. So I was impressed with the defensive line. They stopped the run. That was the big concern, whether or not we could stop the run today. Mekhi Frazier, the top running back, he only averaged 3 yards a carry. And I know Aiden Chelsea ate us alive at times, but besides him, really, again, we could stop the run. So I was impressed with the defensive line. I was impressed with the secondary once again. They had a very slow start on the day. Aiden Chelsea only threw for, I want to say, 80 yards. So we're still going to have the number one secondary in America when it's all said and done. I know this defense in a lot of areas, it didn't live up to it. There was a lot of penalties today. A lot of times where we could have stopped the drive very early on, and we let them walk all the way down the field because we had, again, these stupid offsides, these pass interferences. I understand all of that, but at the end of the day, man, kudos to Tom Butler, because if it weren't for him, we would have probably lost this football game. Because when you go to the offensive side of football, there was none of that, right? Dana Holtz, I want to talk about Dana first because for whatever reason, I think Dana gets a pass from the fan base. We always talk about, Donovan Raiola and how obviously the offensive line isn't living up to expectations. It's not very good. And I get that, right? And we'll talk about the offensive line, Elijah Pritchett, Gunnar Gatula at length in this live stream. Trust me. But why does Dana always get a pass? And what we saw in the second quarter or third quarter today was probably the worst offensive performance we've seen as Nebraska fans in a very long time. We couldn't move the football. We couldn't do anything. And it starts with Dylan, but it starts with the offensive line as well. I mean, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's talk about the offensive line. I'm sick of having this conversation. I figured that the offensive line would have fixed itself by now. I trusted Don Morale. I trusted a lot of these players. First off, Elijah Pritchett can't start going forward. I don't know why this was ever a conversation. He got his opportunity. The Pritchett posse, the people who've been calling for him, finally, you got to see him for an entire game. What did you think? Elijah Pritchett gave up 2 sacks on back-to-back plays. He gave up 2 false starts, multiple pressures in there. He was unplayable. He was terrible. Why do we still do this Elijah Pritchett experiment in week 6? This cannot happen anymore. He's not a starter. He's not a quality player. And I'm not saying Teddy Prohaska is perfect. I'm definitely not saying Gunnar Gatula is. But it just frustrates me when we keep giving Elijah Pritchett chances and he shows his true colors. He's not a very good tackle. And one thing that really frustrated me today, I haven't, again, the Pro Football Focus grades won't be out until tomorrow. We got pressured, I want to say about 75, 80% of our dropbacks. Let me repeat that. I believe today, Dylan Raiola got pressured on 75 or 80% of his dropbacks. We should also mention that Michigan State has one of the worst defensive lines in the Big Ten. So if this offensive line could even handle Michigan State, I do not want to see what they're going to do against, again, teams like Iowa, teams like Penn State. I know Penn State lost today. We'll talk about that later. Even the USC. That was incredibly frustrating. Even Gunnar Gatula did not play very good football today. So I understand everybody calling for Raiola's head, and we'll make a video about it this week. Trust me about it. We'll dive back into the film. I am disappointed in Raiola. If I had it my way, and I'm sure if you had it your way, he would be gone. But let's just get that out of our mind space, because I'm going to tell you this right now, and I will tell you this forever. Raiola will not be fired from Nebraska. He will never be fired as long as Dylan Raiola is our quarterback here. That's just the hard truth. Okay. I know it's not ideal. Raiola clearly is not even a top 40, top 50 offensive line coach in America. I understand it. I understand that he probably should be gone if we had a competent coaching staff with a competent, athletic director. But at the end of the day, what can we do? The Raiolas kind of have us by the stones a little bit, because I'm telling you right now, families like that to them. So if you fire Raiola, Dylan's gone. Dylan's in the portal the next day, and Dayton's decommitted, and Dominic Raiola wants his name tore off of the building, right? You can't fire him. And also should be mentioned that Matt Rhule, unfortunately, this is a conversation we can have as well. Matt Rhule does not fire people. We had the worst special teams coordinator in America last year. We had the worst offensive coordinator in America last year. And Matt Rhule did not have the stones to fire either of them. Both of those two coaches are still on our coaching staff. They still have a role. Yes, it's a diminished role, but they're still here. So again, Raiola will never be fired. And I'm not calling, I'm definitely disappointed with him. I'm not necessarily head on calling for him to be fired, but it's like Raiola will not be fired. Whether it's now, whether it's at the end of the year, whether it's next year. As long as Dylan Raiola is with this university, Don will be here. So just wanted to address that. As for, again, Dana Holgerson, I understand we put up 38 points today, so it's not like we put up a horrific offensive performance. But it was a failure in a multitude of aspects. From Dylan with his interception, with offensive went from bad to worse when he do that just numbskull interception very early on. The offensive line, obviously, we already talked about that. The wide receivers, that was the key to the game today. We today were going up against one of the worst Big Ten secondaries in the last 10 years. So if we won this football game today, it would be because our wide receivers really were always open. Dylan Raiola had all day in the pocket, and we just hit him for 200, 300 passing yards. Why did it feel like none of our receivers could get open today at all? Where was Dane Key? And this is why I told you guys, I've been kind of disappointed with Dane Key this year. Because when he transferred to Nebraska, we were told that, we're getting one of the best receivers in the SEC coming out of Kentucky. When you play inferior opponents like Michigan State, you should have 100 receiving yards. What did he do today? They don't have a great secondary. They don't have anybody who can cover him one-on-one. At least that's what we thought. Jacory, he had his moments on special teams. We'll get into that. We'll talk about all the special teams later. But what did Jacory do in the past game today? Not too much. It took an Isaiah Mozee slip screen, and it took an Isaiah Hunter also a screen to really blow out this team like we probably should have from the very get-go. And I guess the reason why I'm frustrated, and I'm sure I haven't really looked at the comment section just yet, I'm sure the comment section is getting mad at me for being quote-unquote pessimistic or harsh about this team's fight that's getting a win. I want to make it very clear, I'm happy we got the win. A win's a win's a win. I'm never going to apologize for getting a win. There are probably a lot of content creators who are going to sit there and be a lot more pessimistic than I am. I'm just happy we won. There was a lot of positives from today. The team showed a lot of resiliency, right? They could have gave up at halftime. They could have allowed Michigan State, when they took that lead, to completely crumble, but they got back up. That's what you should do against inferior squads. The reason why I'm disappointed is because it shouldn't have took all that. It shouldn't have took until the fourth quarter to pull away. Shouldn't have took all that. And somehow, I predicted us to only win by 7 points, and I didn't think it was going to be that sloppy. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. So, I'm just incredibly disappointed. Incredibly disappointed with a lot of aspects of this team. We have a lot of work to do. And again, the offensive line at this point, it's not fixable. It's not fixable. I'm sure it'll get better, no question about it. But Elijah Pritchett, he's shown his colors. We know what Elijah Pritchett is. He's not a very good player. Teddy Prohaska, we know what he is. He's not a very good player. Gunnar Gattulo, we know what he is. He's not a very good player. So we just don't have the horses on the offensive line, unfortunately. And it's kind of the same thing we thought going into the year as well. Why did we only take 2 players in the portal on the offensive line? It's a great question. The offensive line really, really frustrated me today, man. But again, the wide receivers never getting open. Dylan Raiola obviously having his moments. Against inferior teams, Dylan Raiola has got to prove himself. And for him to throw that boneheaded interception, for him to be kind of he didn't make an impact on this game at all, throwing the ball down the field. Really, the only times we really had big receiving yards were off screen passes. There was really never one time the game where he completed a big pass over, 10, 15 yards. And the same thing with Jalyn really pissed me off. Really, two things. Number one, he has horrific touch on the football at times, right? I mean, very early on the ball game, obviously we were first drive of the ball game. I believe we're at the 8-yard line. We threw that fade ball to Dane Key. We throw that exact same pass, exact same play every single game. Basically, Dane Key goes on an out route. We throw a fade ball to him, hope we can catch it for a touchdown. I'm not kidding with you. We have done that in the Akron game, Houston Christian game, Michigan game, and now the Michigan State game. And every single time Dylan Raiola overthrows that fade pass, it boggles the mind. It boggles the mind. So I guess that was really frustrating me. The touch on the football, I mean, there was one where Nyziah Hunter was in the back of the end zone. If he threw that ball a little bit sooner and in stride, it would have been a touchdown. And then obviously the pocket presence, right? Like, I mean, the offensive line, the offensive line did him no favors. They didn't do him any favors against Michigan. But I'm of the belief that, man, if the pressure's, the pocket's collapsing, the pressure's getting you got to get that ball out. You got to throw it away. You got to throw that ball away early. And at times, Dylan's just taking way too many sacks. He's just trying to stick in there, make a play, make something special happen. Like, dude, nothing's happening on this play. Throw it away or run it. He's way too hesitant. And I don't want to act like Dylan played horrific, but I don't think anybody should come across from this game and say, oh, Dylan was, the X factor. Really? Was Dylan really the X factor? I don't think so. And also, I think the last thing that kind of frustrates me about Dylan, I just feel like he's too lackadaisical sometimes, right? Like the little underarm, like he does basically the baseball scoop pass. What are we doing with that? So, anyways, but that's my comments on Dylan. We'll get into the comment section here in a bit. Put your thoughts in here. We'll get to them, guys. Don't worry about it. We'll get to your comments. What were some other things? I mean, special teams. Archie was not great today. I mean, he had his moments later down the line in the game. He had a couple nice punts inside the 10, inside the 5, but his first punt or second punt, I believe, when we had arguably the worst 4 plays in the history of Nebraska football, it was in the second quarter. And we had, 4th down and 41 because we gave up 3 consecutive sacks. Elijah Pritchett gave up a sack on first down. Elijah Pritchett gave up a sack on second down. And then we had a bobble snap by Dylan, and then we were going to punt it on 4th down, and Archie punted it literally about 20 yards in the air. So yeah, special teams. I mean, obviously we had that big Jacory Barney punt return that should have went for a touchdown. We had a block in the back. I mean, we had a lot of penalties today, man. We had a lot of penalties today, and I think the box score officially says it was only 5 or 6, but every single one of those penalties came at a crucial moment. Again, we got to clean that up. All this stuff shouldn't happen against Michigan State, and the reason why I'm frustrated, again, I'm happy we got the win, and we'll talk about all the positives. But the reason why I'm frustrated more than anything is because it's deeper than the box score. It's deeper than just, getting the win nowadays. Okay, it's about a standard. And when you play inferior teams, Michigan State's not any good. They're one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. We don't have to sugarcoat it. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. Their quarterback cannot throw the football today. He was injured very early on. So the reason why I'm frustrated is because in order for Nebraska, in my mind, to still be that 9-win team, and I still think we can get there, I know that might sound ludicrous to some of you guys. I still think we can win 9 games. In order for us to get there, you got to beat these Michigan State teams bad. And for us to basically have it be a ball game until the 4th quarter, the very end where we pulled away, that shouldn't have happened. We should have pulled away when it was 14-0 in the first quarter. It's frustrating stuff, man. Frustrating stuff. All right, let's get to the comment section. We have a lot still to talk about, man. We had a sloppy game. We pulled it off. You're absolutely right. Again, a win's a win, right? This is a game that I don't know if we would have won in year 1 of Matt Rule. Actually, we wouldn't have won it because we lost to Michigan State year 1 of Matt Rule. Right? We would have probably not won this game with Scott Frost. So again, there definitely are some positives, but again, for it to be that sloppy against Michigan State, I just think a lot of us don't understand how bad Michigan State is. Because when we think of Michigan State, we think of obviously the D'Antoni era, when they were competing for the College Football Playoff. They were winning 9, 10 games a year. We always had our classic battles with him and Bo Pelini, even him versus Mike Riley. So I understand a lot of us still think Michigan State's like a competent program. Michigan State hasn't been good in years, guys. They haven't been good since, Kenneth Walker, Mel Tucker, like 4 or 5 years ago. Ever since then, they've been one of the worst teams in the Big Ten pretty consistently. So basically, let's take the name out of it. Nebraska pretty much played a Rutgers today, in my mind. And I feel like if we played Rutgers and it was the exact same thing, 38-27 in this sloppy fashion, people would be a lot more mad. I think people are pretty frustrated anyways. How did UCLA beat Penn State? How tough will they be now? I don't think it changes much. I think it changes how we view Penn State for sure. Again, that's not good news for us though. Like, I mean, obviously Penn State's still going to be a tough game, but they might not be ranked. They might not have James Franklin. They might come after Matt Rule. You never know. But UCLA again, that's going to be a tough game. I think it's always going to be a tough game, regardless if they were 0-4. I predicted us to lose to them preseason. That prediction looking a little bit better. That prediction looking a little bit better. Since he wins again, Wilson with the bad take on that team. You're right. You're right. I, I apologize. Cincinnati, man, that was a big win today against Iowa State. I didn't think they were going to do it. But are they still going to win like 9-8 games? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. All right, guys, we're getting to the comment section here. But put your thoughts in here. We're going to go for a while tonight. Dylan needs to figure out how to throw the ball away. I get the O line sucks and the wide receivers weren't open, but dang, he just takes sack after sack. I mean, yeah, again, that's arguably his biggest flaw right now. And the thing that really frustrates me about Dylan is I don't think his pocket presence is that bad. Like everybody, in the comment section and the live chat will always say, "Well, Dylan's pocket presence is horrific." I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case at all. But the problem with Dylan is that for whatever reason, he just tries to make something happen when nothing's there. Nothing's there. Nothing's there at all. And he'll try to make with all these little underarm passes, try to look fancy, try to look cute. The best quarterbacks are efficient. Incredibly frustrating. Now, am I at the point where TJ Lateef should start? I saw a lot of that, man. I saw people call for TJ. No, TJ should not start. But man, Dylan's in year 2 and we're playing Michigan State. Come on, it should be a little bit better than that. It should be a little bit better than that. Come on. It is what it is, though, man. How's the recruiting? I mean, it's not looking good in the class of 26. It might get better. We'll talk about that this week, though, for sure. We'll talk about recruiting. We'll do a big update. When Nary Shavers and Wright play well today, yeah, again, I thought the defense in general had a really good performance. Yeah, we gave up 28 points, and the majority of that was just because of penalties. We couldn't get off the field. But the only thing that killed us, yeah, met some subscribers in this parking lot I'm at. Anyways, the reason why Michigan State was in this ball game was just simply because Aiden Charles was starting to eat us alive with his legs, right? And that's what kills us. We know we can't stop the quarterback run. We couldn't stop it versus Michigan. We couldn't stop it versus Cincinnati. I don't know why it took Michigan State 2 quarters to figure out that, hey, if we just run the football with Aiden Childs and he can make something happen, we're going to have success on offense. But other than that, I mean, again, we stopped Mekhi Frazier for the most part. They couldn't create a hole for him. We got a pass rush today. Like that's a huge development. We got 5 or 6 sacks officially, the most sacks we've gotten all year. That's huge. Again, Elijah Judy had a great game. When Nary had multiple pressures, I thought Deshaun McCullough, I don't think he officially got a sack, but he was in on multiple of them. I was really impressed with the defense. I thought Andrew Marshall had a really, really good second half. While this defense kind of troubled in the second half, Andrew Marshall had so many clutch tackles after clutch tackles where, corners in the past with Huskers, they wouldn't make those plays. So I was very impressed with Andrew Marshall. Sear Wright had a really good day. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Let's give Sear Wright some props. Sear Wright's one of the best corners in America. He's proved that consistently. He is one of the best corners in America. Deshaun Singleton had a really good day. Deshaun had 2 interceptions. Granted, both those interceptions were pretty easy, and he should have had that fumble return if that wasn't called back. So again, I thought the defense played really well. I was impressed with the game plan, but really, it's the penalties. It was the penalties that killed us in the quarterback scramble. That's just the way it goes, guys. The way it goes. But the frustrating thing for me, with how well this defense played, we shouldn't have gave up 28 points, and that's the issue with Nebraska, where we just keep these teams in the game. For whatever reason, we outplayed Michigan State despite us having a horrific second and third quarter. We outplayed them pretty much the majority of the ball game, and yet it was still a 1-score tie ball game going into the fourth. Again, that shouldn't have been the scenario at all. So for whatever reason, Nebraska, although they might outplay teams, they keep them in the ball game. Williams and Airy finally had that breakout game. Yeah, I mean, again, I was impressed with Williams. And also, I mean, we got to talk about the other new starter on defense. I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't know if they mentioned it on the broadcast, but Marques Buford got benched. Marques Buford, for the first time, and I want to say 3 years since he's been healthy, he did not start today.
They benched Marquez Buford. They put in Rex Guthrie. I talked about that a little bit on the channel over the week. I said that Rex Guthrie's going to get a lot more run. I said that Buford would be on a very short leash. Now, I did not expect him to get benched this early on, but again, I thought that was a really good development by the coaching staff. They're saying, hey, I don't care if you're a senior. I don't care if you're a fourth year, fifth year player. If you're not playing at a high level, whether it's a Marquez Buford, a Teddy Prohaska, even a Cam Lenhart who got a lot less snaps than what he had in the past, we're going to bench you. So I thought that was a great development by Matt Rule. Because again, Marcus Buford was not playing very good football. He was arguably our worst player on defense versus Michigan. Gave up multiple big time runs because he just missed the tackle. Was not great in coverage either. So I was impressed with that, but by the coaching staff. They made that big boy move. Okay, to be a good staff, you got to make some big boy moves. You got to bench some guys who are may have been long term stars, maybe black shirts, maybe single digit guys, but sometimes you got to make that tough decision. In Matt Rule, he hadn't made those tough decisions in the past, but he did today, so that was very impressive. Nickel Toe says Mark Watson Trent is a bust. Yeah, you're probably right. I have been very disappointed with Marcus Watson Trent. I don't get it. I don't get it. He had 120 tackles last year at Georgia Southern. He averages again 100 tackles the last 4 years. He was the Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year, and you're telling me he can't make a single play in Nebraska? He can't even start. He didn't start today. Yeah, awful, just awful, man. Oh, good. We haven't talked about this. Yes, we need to talk about the running backs, guys. We need to have a conversation. I thought Emmett would play great today. I thought Emmett by far, I don't think it was even particularly close. Emmett was the best player on offense. Definitely wasn't Dylan. Definitely wasn't any of the receivers. Certainly wasn't any offensive lineman. Emmett was the best player on offense. And I don't know what his official stats were. I bet he averaged about 6 yards to carry. The offensive line wasn't creating many holes for him either. Again, the offensive line played horrific. But when EJ got that opportunity, he bounced it out, had a couple big time runs, had 3 touchdowns on the day. Emmett Johnson was great. And that's exactly what you want to see coming off of his pretty bad performance versus Michigan. Now, as for running back two, I don't necessarily agree that we found our running back too. Mekhi Nelson only had what, one carry today? And yeah, I mean it was pretty nice carries for 11 yards. He shot up the B gap, had some nice burst to it, lowered the boom on a guy, lowered the shoulder. But we just didn't see enough. Like one carry really proves that Mekhi Nelson's the guy. Really? We saw a little bit of Isaiah Mozee. I think he had 2 carries officially, really didn't have much there. We didn't see any Quinn Ives again, which I don't get it. The coaching staff must not trust Quinn Ives, which is such a weird 180 because they were hyping up Quinn Ives all spring long. So for them to go, oh, he's a solidified running back too, to he can't get a snap, I thought that was interesting. But again, I don't necessarily agree that Makai's running back too. He only had one carry. What? I don't know. He might have got some carries right at the very end. I don't know, but I know he had one carry that was in a significant moment, and I don't think that one carry proved anything. So again, he probably is the second best running back, no question about it. But I still want to see Ives. I still want to see Ives. But that's a good comment because we have not mentioned the running backs just yet. Every time they should pan to Donovan Jones, a wide receiver has a step on him. Yeah, I agree with this comment. I'm not like crazy on Donovan Jones. I really have never been. Even you go back to Boston College, which was his emergence. He had a couple of nice physical tackles. Like we need to make this very clear, Donovan Jones. He's a physical tackler. He is arguably the best tackler we have in the secondary, not named Deshaun Singleton. So I think that's why a lot of Nebraska fans gravitate toward him, but he's just not there in coverage yet. Like he's not that great in coverage, and he missed a couple tackles today. They had a very early on curl route to Nick Marsh, and Nick caught the football, shook off Donovan Jones. Donovan missed the tackle. I think Rex Guthrie had to clean up after him. Okay, he's just not a boundary corner. I really like him more at nickel, but they're not playing him at nickel. They're putting Sear at nickel now. So they're changing a lot with the secondary. But I've never been like crazy high on Donovan. Not to act like he had a bad game today. I thought Donovan played pretty well. Um, Maybe not because he really played that great, but Aiden Childs was horrific. Aiden Childs was so bad, man, and he was a little bit banged up, so it's not his fault. But Aiden threw probably the two worst interceptions I've ever seen, and I mean he was just constantly overthrown or underthrown that football. They actually was just awful, 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 man. So I think when it's all said and done, Aiden Childs might be one of the worst quarterbacks we play all year, and it's probably because of the win more than anything. But still, the best quarterbacks adjust. The best quarterbacks adjust. It's possible to be ranked. Not us. We're not being ranked. Maybe Maryland. We'll talk about Maryland as this live stream goes on. Trust me. He would have allowed 3 sacks in a row if Raiola hadn't fumbled the snap. Trade him. Yeah, no, he did. He did give up. He had two in a row, and then yeah, when Raiola fumbled that snap, he let off another big block. The edge rusher came right off. But if Dylan went to the left instead of the right, yeah, he would have got sacked by Elijah Pritchett's man. But yeah, Elijah was terrible. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him. I'm not. I want him to be good, but it's so frustrating when the fan base calls for Elijah Pritchett every single week as if he's suddenly going to get better overnight. Elijah Pritchett's not a good player. He's never been a good player. He was not good at Alabama. Like, how many games will it take for the fan base to wake up and realize, or not only the fan base, the coaching staff, because the coaching staff's the one that keep throwing him out there. Now, I don't have necessarily an answer. I still want to see Elijah Pritchett at right tackle. So basically, what they did is they put Elijah at left and they put Gunnar at right. Why? Why can't you just put Elijah at right? Why are you trying to force so badly Elijah at left? Make it make sense because it's clear he's not a left tackle. He could be a right tackle. We haven't seen him there this year at all. I'm willing to try anything with Elijah, but I'm not willing to try left tackle anymore because we've already done that and it hasn't reaped any benefits whatsoever. Hasn't reaped any benefits whatsoever. Emmett has been Nebraska's best player for 3 years now. I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, yeah, he had his moments last year, but I mean, who was our best player on offense last year? I'm trying to think, dude. It's been a minute since last year. Who was our best player on offense last year? I mean, probably Jacory. Isaiah Nayer within the first couple of games was probably our best player on offense. The best player, definitely not overall. Definitely not overall. But the question, who our best player on defense is? Who, in your opinion, who was our best player on defense? Because I would say it's Hassan Shingleton pretty easily. But again, Cia Wright had a really good season as well. I mean, we got some really good players in the secondary. Again, I was impressed with this defense overall. I thought the defense was lights out, despite us giving up 27 points. I'm just more so mad that we gave up 27 points. When you look at the statistics, we had no business giving up any of that at all. So, why are we worried about running back two and we barely run the ball? Well, it's not that we're worried about running back two and when we don't run the ball. It's that the reason why we don't run the ball is because we don't have a running back two. So whenever Emmett Johnson gets tired or gets banged up or gets war or tore, we deliberately do not run the football because we take him out. We don't trust Mekhi. That's the problem. The reason why we need to figure out a running back two is because when we do find that guy, and at this point, I mean, let's just be very real. We're probably not going to find him this year. But again, if we were to find a running back two, we would be a more balanced offense. But again, at this point, I mean, we're going into our sixth game next week against Maryland. At some point, you figure out if you got a guy or you don't. Very rarely in college football will somebody just emerge in the back half of the year. Like, you figure out within your first couple games who you got and who you don't. And I think it's pretty clear to the majority of us that we don't have a running back too. Again, I would like to see Mekhi's workload increase, but again, one carry is not going to prove anything to anybody. He had one carry today. We haven't seen Quinn Ives. I'm still of a belief that Isaiah Mozee's not a traditional running back. I think Isaiah Mozee should get a lot of snaps, but he's not in the mix for running back too because he's not really a traditional running back. Dominic says, good point. Good point, Dominic. He says that, bro, these refs, you have to admit. Yeah, the refs are pretty questionable. They're pretty questionable. I don't know. I mean, they made some decent, the block in the back, that was pretty petty on the punt return touchdown. But as for the forward pass, that was the right call. There was a pass interference in there. That was the right call. But yeah, again, they were pretty petty. They were pretty petty. But I remember people at the stadium just get so mad over low level stuff. Like, they got mad over the forward pass. Like, that was pretty clearly a forward pass, guys. We don't have to boo the refs for that. But I agree with you. The refs in general, I mean, they were. If you're going to call the game tic tac, be consistent about it and call tic tac penalties on Michigan State too, not just us. Do you think Williams Neri could be freshman All Big Ten? I'm not really thinking about it right now. That'll be something we could talk about later down the line. I could see it. I could see it. Um, I could see it. Williams had a really good day today. I'll just put it at that. I'll put it at that. Finally, Lenhard got a sack. Yeah, again, I was so happy for Cameron Lenhard, man. He officially got off the milk carton. He officially got off the milk carton. I think this was his first complete full sack that was not assisted since 2 years ago, since he was a true freshman. So big accomplishment for Cam Lenhard. I'm happy for him though, man. Finally, he made something happen, and that sealed the game for us. So that was a huge play for Cam. So good job to him, man. Again, I thought the defensive line in general played very well. The only guy on the defensive line that every single game I'm like, oh my goodness, I never see him out there is Riley Van Poppel. Like, what is it with Riley Van Poppel? We've saw a lot of defensive linemen improve today, and yet it feels like Riley Van Poppel can never do anything, man. He's a single-digit player. That's incredibly frustrating from Van Poppel. Play calling is always bad. Dane deserves criticism. I agree with you. 100% I agree with you. Yeah, again, I don't agree that some people will only blame Donovan, but they won't blame Dana. Like they're in the same boat. Dana's his boss. Dana employs him, right? The play calling has been really suspect at times. The red zone play calling has been really frustrating. Like it took us a trick play on the first drive of the game to score in the red zone. That's how. I mean, really, that's how deep cut we're getting here. Because we can't just do standard plays anymore. When we are in the red zone, we got to do trick plays. We did that little handoff to Dylan Raiola, who handed it to Emmett Johnson, run the exact opposite direction. Like, why are we doing all that? I mean, it was just stupid, man. It was stupid. But yeah, I thought Dana really, again, the fact that it was what 14-14 at one point in this ball game going into the fourth quarter, it shouldn't have ever been that. Michigan State has a horrific defense. So I'm happy when it was all said and done, we put up 38, but it shouldn't have took it till the fourth quarter to really, knock the doors off them, right? And also, I'm to the point where again, I'm just so past the Haarberg pity snaps, guys. Like the Haarberg, we did the Haarberg trick play. Again, it works, so I'm not gonna get mad about it. But there were two more that really frustrated me. The fake punt. Why did we do a fake punt? And again, awful, awful execution. We couldn't hold a block on a fake punt. And there was one more play by Haarberg. I think he dropped a pass. Um, it really frustrated me. Or yeah, some along those lines. So again, I'm just done with the Haarberg experiment. It just feels like we try to get him involved way too much. Like Haarberg's just not that good of a player, guys. He's not that good of a player. And I want him to be good, trust me, but we just gotta have a tough reality about it, man. We have a tough conversation there. Are we more scared about UCLA than Penn State? Haha, JK, but crazy upset. Yeah, I mean, we're obviously, you know, obviously we're more worried about Penn State, but yeah, again, that UCLA game's gonna be tough. It's always gonna be tough. Even despite them starting 0-4, it was always gonna be a tough game because they got talent. The reason why UCLA was losing football games, whether that was against New Mexico or some other squads, was because they're not coached very well. Well, they got rid of those coaches. They got rid of Deshaun Foster. They got rid of their offensive coordinator. So now that they're coached a little bit better, they still got the exact same talent. They still got a stud quarterback in Nico Amalavia who was dealing today. UCLA's a tough ball game. Trust me, it's gonna be a tough ball game. And I believe we're on a two-game losing streak against UCLA. Obviously, we lost them last year. We lost to them last time we played down there in Pasadena. So that'll be a tough one for sure. But Penn State again, in my opinion, Penn State losing today. Again, I didn't watch the game. Trust me, I was getting updates about it. It doesn't change anything in my mind that we're still going to lose against Penn State. If anything, they're more angry. They're more angry that they lost to UCLA. And now James Franklin, he's coaching for his job. Because if they don't make the playoffs this year, if they go 9-3 or worse, Penn State will probably fire him. They're at that point with James Franklin. It's either you break out now or you never will. They seriously might fire him. And in that case, hey, they might come after Matt Rule, maybe. I mean, it still depends on what we do this year. And we know, honestly, if I truly believe in my heart of hearts, if Penn State's offering Matt Rule and says, "Hey, we want you to come here," Matt Rule will take that opportunity. Matt Rule will go to Penn State if they offer him. 100% he would. He loves Penn State, and that's his team. He grew up rooting for that team. He grew up around the area. He played for that team. He was a walk-on for that team. I know a lot of you guys have some mixed feelings about that. Some would be happy if Rule left. I'm sure some people would be very frustrated. But if James Franklin does get fired, it's something we should watch very extensively because there is a reality that if he were to leave and Nebraska still pulls off 8-9 wins this year, they will go after Matt Rule. So Dane Key was invisible this game. Yeah. Again, I'm very frustrated with Dane Key. Okay, this should not happen from a guy that we're paying around $1 million, one of the best receivers in the SEC, for him to be on the milk carton against a Michigan State who has a horrific secondary. And I understand the wind had its impacts on the ball game, but the wind shouldn't have had that big of an impact. Okay, again, the best quarterbacks, the best offenses adjust. It doesn't matter if you're playing in wind, sleet, snow, hail, doesn't matter. You can pass the football. And Dylan clearly was rattled by the wind. And clearly these receivers couldn't get open either. It wasn't, just Dylan's fault. The receivers weren't given any opportunities. Key was never open. Jacory was never open. Nyziah Hunter was not open until the fourth quarter, right? Oh, that's frustrating, man, for sure. That's frustrating for sure. Special teams cooked. Yeah, again, special teams. And Jacory had some nice returns. He had 3 nice returns today. Yeah, Jacory had a really good performance. Okay, Jackson says, yeah, we just talked about that. Yeah, I do believe, again, if Penn State gives Matt Rule a real offer, and I mean a real offer, says, hey, you're our guy. We want you to come coach for us. Matt Rule will take that in a heartbeat. I 100% believe that. No question about it. Like, he likes Nebraska. He wants to stay here. But there's only one place he would ever leave for. It'd be Penn State. Like, I have no concern about Matt Rule leaving, to go to Texas A&M or Florida or fill in the blank, go back to the NFL. That's never going to happen. The only place he would leave Nebraska for is Penn State, and he would do it in a heartbeat. Okay, so Wilson, you've been saying that this was a must win for the Huskers. Mission accomplished. Absolutely, it was. Again, a win's a win's a win. We're never going to apologize for a win ever. It is a little bit frustrating that, of course, it was a sloppy performance, and the offensive line's not getting any better. A lot of positions aren't getting much better. The play calling wasn't very good, but again, a win's a win's a win. And we need to go on a roll. We cannot afford to lose in the month of October. I still believe we can win 9 games this year, guys. I still do. This schedule is very advantageous, but you got to go undefeated in October. It's a non-negotiable, and you had to win today to get on that roll. So, 100%. Minnesota defense is locked in. I don't. Who are they? I don't even. I can't remember who they're playing today. Who's Minnesota? Oh, they're playing Ohio State, aren't they? What's the score of that ball game, guys? What's the score? Honest, we probably needed Jonah Wilson more than we know his archetype would fit great. Yeah, I mean, heck, we probably still needed Harley Gilmore on this team, man. Like, yeah, we need more options at wide receiver. Our depth is not good. It went from really good to really bad over a span of a couple months in the offseason. You know, we truly believed. I think the majority of us believed just 2 months ago that when it was all said and done, Nebraska would have one of the best receiver cores in America. Not top 20, not, top 50. I think the majority of the fan base believed that Nebraska's receiver core could have been top 10, the number one in the Big Ten. And once again, for whatever reason, the wide receivers kind of just never lived up to expectations. Now, am I sitting and acting like the receivers are, a huge liability on this team? No, they had a bad game today. They're going to bounce back. Trust me. But it's all about putting things in relativity, what we were expecting from them. We expected the receivers to be better. And again, the depth is just not good. Again, if Dane doesn't have it, we can't put another player because we don't have any other options. Like, we're not going to throw Cortez in the fire. We're not going to throw Quinn Clark in the fire. It's clear they don't trust those two guys just yet. So it is what it is. Who do you think could be drafted from Nebraska? I think we're gonna have a lot of draft picks this year. I think we're gonna have a lot. I still think Dane's gonna get drafted, so that's one. Emmett, Emmett probably is gonna get drafted at this point. I mean, it's not gonna be a very high pick, but he'll probably get drafted. So we got two there. I can't say anybody on the offensive line is gonna get drafted. Desamacola will get drafted. Uh, Probably Sia Wright will get drafted. Sean Singleton will get drafted. So that's at least five. We have at least five guys for sure. For sure. If we want to win 8 or 9 games, the offense has to play all 4 quarters. You're exactly right, Emerson. Again, for whatever reason, Nebraska, we can't be consistent throughout the course of a game. For us to have one of the best offensive, for one of the best scores we've had all year, I mean, we came out of the gates firing. I predicted us to start slow. We did not start slow, but we started slow in the second quarter. I don't know what happened in between the first quarter and the second quarter. Obviously, we switched field. We went, with the wind to against the wind. For us to go to, dominating the football game at that point, going to the second quarter, we thought we were going to win probably by 70. And for us to go to that to, Michigan comes out firing and responds, and we have no answers for them, and the offense can't move the football. It can't happen, man. The best teams are consistent. We have no consistency at times, man. I feel like the Michigan State punter did a really good job against the wind. I mean, he got distance on it. The thing about their punter, though, is that I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but he was kicking it very low because when you're kicking against the wind, you got to kick it low. It got to be a bullet kick to get any distance on it whatsoever. And because of the fact that he was kicking a bullet, it gave Jacory Barney lots of room to have a big return. So that's why Jacory had pretty much 3 big returns. He had one that should have went for a touchdown, but obviously was called back, and he had two others that probably could have. And Archie had his moments. Archie, when he was with the win, Archie was very good. When Archie was against the win, it was ugly, man. It was ugly. Well, I think it's funny. The fan base kind of, especially at the games, are so funny. Like, we were in a very tight game against Michigan State, and Archie Wilson goes out there to punt. It's the fourth quarter or third quarter, and people are like clapping, like, "Oh, Archie's out there!" Like, well, guys, what are we doing? Why are we clapping for a punter in a ball game that we're not playing very well in? I don't know. Some of the older fan base, man. It's so kind of frustrating. I get Archie Wilson has a great story, but we don't want to see Archie out there, guys. We don't want to see Archie. You can't overstate how impactful the win was. The only score was the final Michigan State drive at the end of the game where Nebraska's D was asleep. Well, again, the win shouldn't have had that big of an impact on the ball game. Like again, the win was impactful, but it shouldn't have been that way. Okay, the win should have not forced Dylan Raiola to look incompetent for 3 of the 4 quarters. The win should have not forced the wide receivers to never get any separation against man coverage today. So again, the win was impactful, but it shouldn't have been that impactful. Your favorite player holds on the ball too long? I told you guys that Dylan hold on the ball too long very early on the stream. That's his biggest con right now. That's his biggest con. Dana is overrated. Leach is the reason that Dana even gets the hype. I mean, you're not wrong that Dana's probably a little bit overrated. Like the people saying like he's an offensive genius, he's a guru. Like that's probably not the case. Let's be real here. But again, is he a terrible offense coordinator? No, he's an offensive mind, right? Again, he can be one of the best offense coordinators in America. But again, today's performance falls on him a large amount too, largely. I would take over Rule, honestly. That's tough. I mean, they're very similar coaches in my mind. I'd say Franklin's a little bit of a recruiter, but I don't know. It's never going to happen, so I don't feel the need to answer. We are so back, says bro moment. Again, a win's a win. A win's a win, my man. A win's a win. A win's a win. And I guess too, let's just look at next week. Before I talk about this, can somebody tell me in chat if Maryland won today? Because I know Maryland was up 20-0 against Washington. Oh, Maryland lost. Okay. Maryland lost today. Okay, that's still gonna be a tough game though. Maryland, okay, wow. Maryland blew it. So they gave up 24 consecutive points. So again, but still, despite the fact that Maryland lost today, that's gonna be a very tough game on the road next week. Another trap game. They got a talented quarterback, they got a high profile offense. So yeah, we'd like to say, oh, we're gonna figure out next week. At some point, you're just gonna figure it out or you don't figure it out. And we're getting to the point of the year where we're at the halfway point. We have our issues, and we're probably never going to fix our issues because at some point it's a personnel issue. The offensive line's a personnel issue. So it is what it is. And it also should be mentioned against Maryland. Yes, Maryland does not have a very good fan base. It's not like we're going to be in a raucous environment, but this will be the first time we play a true road game all year. We have not played a true road game all year until now, until mid-October. So definitely going to be a little bit of a trap game next week. So again, that's why I'm a little bit frustrated that we didn't again, blow up Michigan State, which we should have. A wins, Michigan State, when it's all said and done, Michigan State will be one of the worst teams we play all year. They will be. Michigan State's a lot worse than Maryland. And I know again the name recognition is there because Michigan State has been good the past decade, but it hasn't been that way the past couple years, guys. Michigan State has not been good since Mel Tucker, and probably next couple of years. So let's be real. All right, let's get back in the comment section here, guys. Refs weren't that impactful since he got called for 7 straight penalties earlier today. Yeah, again, the refs weren't too bad. They had a couple bad moments, but I'm not going to sit here and blame the refs for it being a closer ball game than it should have been. Like again, we should have just took care of business, guys. We should have took care of business from the very get go, man. And I guess, I mean, not to reiterate myself, but when you have a golden opportunity, you're up 14-0, you need to put in the death punch. We had an opportunity in the second quarter. If we got that thing up to 21-0, 28-0, it would have been over going to halftime. When you have that opportunity in Big Ten play, you cannot let that go. You can't let that go. So for us to be, up 14-0 for them to come roaring back in this offense to go from best to worst in a matter of a couple minutes, I don't have any answers to that. I don't know how that happened. Usually you'll see maybe that happen after halftime, but for that to happen after one quarter to another, it's not like Michigan State was making a bunch of adjustments. They probably weren't. When you have the death blow, but that early on the ball game against this poor of a football team, you got to take advantage. This guy says start TJ next week. Yeah, no. No, man. Come on. Come on. Come on. We're not doing this. Toughest road game is Penn State. You're not wrong. I'm not saying it's not. That will be the toughest game we play so far, for sure. For sure. In in the past, we find a way to blow that game, take the W. Again, I agree with you. Yeah, we probably would have lost that game in year one of Matt Rule. We lost the very similar game to Michigan State in year one. We would have lost the game with Scott Frost. But here's my devil's advocate. At some point, we need to stop comparing things to the past. We need to stop saying, "Oh, well, we would have lost that game in the past. Oh, we would have blew this lead in the past." Like at some point, we just need to focus on the future, focus on the present, and say, "Hey, I understand that we've struggled in the past, but we have a standard now. We have a standard in place." And I'm sure Matt Rule's not happy about this victory. I'm sure Matt Rule probably would have wanted it to be a blowout. It should have been a blowout. I I'm telling you guys this that halftime speech is not getting leaked this week. And if it were to get leaked, it would get banned on YouTube because it would have expletive after expletive after expletive. There would be F bombs. There would be, I mean, throwing clipboards. I don't know. I'm sure Matt Rule is not happy about that. I'm sure. Wilson, my car's right behind you. Not true. Not true. Not true. Imagine though. Imagine. That Cincinnati win is looking better and better. Yeah. I mean, they had a great game today. They played well. They played well. I'm happy for them. But at the same time, the Michigan win, or excuse me, the Michigan loss looks a lot worse. Yes, they still beat Wisconsin, but they should have beat them bad, man. They should have beat Wisconsin by 50 points. So teach their own, though. Teach their own. I don't get what's so hard about throwing the ball away, watching Minnesota's quarterback do it now against Ohio State's pressure. Well, we just have a quarterback who I think our quarterback has maybe a little bit too much confidence in himself and in the offense. At times that's a good thing, but at times that could be very, very detrimental and bad. So again, when the pressure gets there, when the pocket breaks down, Dylan will step up, try to make something happen out of nowhere. You do these stupid underarm passes that don't need to happen. He's just trying to make some too much happen. Okay, it's not high school anymore. The best quarterbacks know where to throw the ball away. Patrick Mahomes throws the ball away. Tom Brady threw the ball away. You do not need to have the home run ball every single time you touch the football. Bro, my points are valid. What points? What points, my man? What points are valid? And yet they still came out and crapped the bed in the third quarter. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Nickeltail. I don't know. Again, I'm sure that halftime speech was pretty fiery, but again, the second quarter and third quarter are just horrific displays. And again, if we played a competent team today, I want to get this through your guys' head. If we played a 6 or 7 win team today, I did it again. If we played like an 8 win team today, we would have lost because that team would have made adjustments and they would have took advantage of us when we literally couldn't move the football. It took us basically 2 screen passes to go all the way for a touchdown. It took Aiden Childs being one of the worst quarterbacks in America, throwing 2 terrible interceptions for us to win this football game. Like if Aiden Childs just played an average game and didn't get banged up, we would have lost probably. We would have lost probably. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, this guy in chat is insisting that he's behind me. You are not behind me, my man. You are not behind me. I promise you're not behind. I'll look at the car that's behind me. I can't even tell. It's too dark. It's too dark. But you are not in the car behind me. So honk, honk. Oh wait, you are not in the car behind me. Actually, I put something in chat, guys. I don't know what that is. I don't know what's in chat. Anyways, in the past we were effed at this point, but guess what? We are winning. I mean, again, you're right. A win's a win. A win's a win, man. A win's a win. A win's a win. When was the last time you think we had a convincing Big Ten win? It's a good question. Convincing Big Ten win. I mean, yeah, Northwestern. Yeah, no, the Northwestern game when we won 3 games that season, 2021. That was a convincing win. I mean, it's been a while, man. Yeah, Northwestern was the first one that comes to my mind. Oh, we had our big Maryland convincing win like 2019. Yeah, but that's a good point, Emerson. Like we have not had a convincing win that we probably should have had this week. We haven't had that in a very long time. Aiden Childs got banged up because we beat the crap out of him all day. You're right. Again, the pass rush was spectacular. The pass rush was absolutely spectacular. Again, kudos to John Butler. I mean, we need to have this conversation now. I'm a believer that John Butler might be a better better coordinator than Dana Holgorsen. Is that crazy to say? Is that crazy to say that John Butler's maybe had a better season than Dana Holgorsen has? With all the hype around Dana Holgorsen, oh, he's the savior of this offense. He's going to bring the best out of Dillon. Is it crazy to say that John Butler's had a better 5 games than Dana? I don't think at all. I don't think that at all. And both of them have had their flaws. But in my opinion, John Butler's fixing his flaws. Dana's flaws are kind of getting worse. With a big issue has been run stopping. Well, we stopped the run today. We only gave up 3 yards a carry. We have the number 1 secondary in America to this very day. We only gave up 80 passing yards today. We have not given up a game all season of over 110 passing yards. The most was Michigan 2 weeks ago, and they had like 105. So we're stopping the run at a higher level. It's not perfect, but we're stopping the run. The defensive line's improving. It's definitely not there. It's not great, but it's improving. The secondary is number 1 in America. We forced turnovers today. Is it crazy to say John Butler's better than Dana? I don't know. But I just still can't believe we gave up 27 points when it was all said and done. I still can't believe that. That should not have happened, man. That should not have happened. And really, again, the only reason that they put up 27 is because we couldn't stop the quarterback scramble. But we did not put a spy on them until the very end of the ball game for whatever reason. So, Buda Wright was good. Yeah, Buda had a good game, man. That was his best game of the season. That was his best full body work. And I thought it was the same deal with Nary. That was the same deal with Shavers. Had that game more once again, gave us some really good snaps. Cade Petchock, his workload's increasing for sure. Pritchett needs to be on the bench. I mean, you're exactly right. And we can't do this anymore. We can't do this anymore. But the bad thing is, again, it's not like we have better options. I mean, Teddy's not that much better of an option. Corcoran's definitely not that better of an option. So, we just don't have the horses. And that's on the coaching staff. The coaching staff had their opportunities to take offensive tackles in the portal, and they got multiple on visits, but they weren't willing to pay that type of money. Okay, so when you're not willing to spend big at a crucial position, this is what happens. And when you employ has flaws, yeah, that's again it'll happen, right? That's what's going to happen. Last was being all said and done, but I mean, I don't know if it was too super convincing. I mean, we obviously put up a lot of points, but they were in that ball game until the very end because they kept striking back on us. They had that big chunk play where Bly Hill gave up like a 75-yard post route. So, can't wait for the excuses from the coaching staff for the secret weapon Dana has for Maryland. The secret weapon. The running back, too, that nobody's ever heard of will finally emerge. Now, I mean, I don't know. I don't think Dana feeds us a lot of BS. I think some BS at times in the interviews and the press conferences, but I think Dana keeps it pretty real. I think Dana is pretty real about it. He'll tell you what the flaws are, but no, will kind of lie to your face. And Matt's the one who will say, "Well, we have a running back too, and you'll see very early on." Like, isn't that exactly what Matt Rule said? Matt Rule said, I think he said that we found out who our running back 2 is, and you will know very early on because he'll get a big workload. I think that's what he said in his press conference this week. Well, we're sitting here after the game. Who's that running back 2? Because I guess it wasn't convincing enough. I mean, maybe it's Mekhi Nelson, but Mekhi only had 1 carry. I think the plan also was for Isaiah Mozee to be running back 2 because I think Mozee got a lot more snaps today, and Mozee was running with the 2s in the pregame warmups. So I think that was actually the answer to the question was Mozee was the running back 2, but we just again didn't see much of him either. So, what do you think of Dillon today? Again, I wasn't impressed with Dillon. I wasn't impressed. Like I'm not going to act like Dillon had the worst day ever, but that interception was so avoidable. Taking so many sacks, no touch on the football once again. Yeah, I told you guys with Dillon, I'm going to be very nitpicky because I believe he could be a top 10, top 5 quarterback. But man, it's got to be better than that against it's a horrific Michigan State secondary. You got to eat, man. And at some point, you're never going to have that it moment. I don't know when it's coming. Wilson, shout to you, Nathan, man. Hope you're having a good night, my man. Appreciate you as always. Hold on. I lost the comment I was going to get back into. Hold on. I was going to respond to a comment. I missed it. Here it is. Oh, by the way, keep on hit that like button on the stream. Just takes 1 second. Hit that like button. I don't know how many likes we're at right now. Let's get to 50. Let's get to 60. Also, if you're somehow watching this and you're not subscribed, I don't hit that subscribe button. Only place you get daily content with Huskers. We'll get back to the comment section here. We'll go for as long as you guys have stuff to talk about. Zach says that was the best D since we played the buffoonery last year. You're probably right. You're probably right. 2.2 yards a carry for both teams per ESPN. We only averaged 2.2 yards a carry, Charles. Oh, okay. That's probably with Dylan Raiola though. That's probably with Dylan because Dylan on the day probably had like negative 50 rushing yards. What was Emmett's yards per carry? Because I think Emmett probably averaged around 6. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Scott says just tuned into your live stream. I'm happy special teams came in clutch today. Yeah, again, special teams played well, man. We finally had some nice returns from Jacory. Archie had his moments. Had some good, had some bad. I did not like the fake punt. We hit our field goal, so and we did not. I don't think they had a single return from a kick return department because it was always in the back of the end zone. So, yep. The Mike. Oh yeah, and of course. How have I not mentioned this yet? We had that block punt. We had that block punt. That was awesome, man. That was our first special team touchdown since Purdue. 2023. Quinn Newsom took a field goal back to the house, so that was awesome, man. Yeah, dude. I forgot. I can't believe we made it like an hour of the show and I have not mentioned the block punt. That was awesome. Mike Eckler effect, I think is what I tweeted out. We have a lot of 4 stars on the offensive line. We have the horses. I mean, we have talent, but clearly they're not developed enough. That's why I say we don't have the horses. Like, do we have talent? Yes. Is Elijah Pritchett talented? Yes. Is Teddy Prohaska talented? Yes. But it's one thing. Talent and production are two completely different things, and talent development are two different things. You can have talent, but you can have somebody who's not developed. Like, for example, Isaiah Mozee is very talented, but Isaiah Mozee is not developed. You go down the line, right? TJ Lateef is very talented, but TJ is not developed right now. So, where's the Nick Marsh transfer to? An SEC program, and he's a dog. He's on my fantasy football team for college football. He's so good, dude. And I was surprised. I mean, we did a really good job shutting him down and Amari Kelly. Amari Kelly's a really good player for them at receiver who transferred in from Middle Tennessee State. But yeah, both those receivers are really good, man. It's really good. I'd rather have an overpaid Pritchett on the right side than an underperforming one on the left. You're right. Again, I want to try Pritchett out of right tackle. I mean, what do we have to lose? What do we have to lose? We have nothing to lose. We have absolutely nothing to lose, man. For sure. Pritchett is such a liability. Take him out. You're right. You're right. Again, how many games will it take for the coaching staff to understand that? How many times? Donnie says, "Way to go, Huskers! You're darn right, Donnie. A win's a win. That's a great mindset to have. A win is a win is a win is a win is a win." Nick says, "So is Cincinnati still a bad team?" You're right to call me out on that, Nick. You are right to call me out on that. Yeah, against Cincinnati, good win today, and I'm the most happy man in the world for them because I want them to be good. Looks good for us, if they continue to succeed. But I guess again, I thought I just didn't think Sorsby would be that good of a quarterback. I thought their receiver talent wasn't very good. They got some really, really good players in their offense, too. They got some really good running backs. Their offensive line has been one of the best in America. Not only one of the best in the Big 12, one of the best in America. So I'm happy for Cincinnati. And I'm happy they're proving me wrong, frankly. I'm very happy about that. But you're right. I was wrong about Cincinnati, for sure. Singleton injured. Yeah, no, he went down for like a play, but he came right back in. So Singleton's not gonna miss any time. Yeah, I forgot what happened. I think he just has a leg wrapped up, but he came in like 2 plays later. So Singleton's fine. Sear Wright got a little bit banged up, but Sear came right back in. Other than that, we were pretty healthy today, guys. Pretty healthy. Pretty healthy. Yep. Emmett averaged 6 yard carry. That's what I thought, Charles. That's what I thought. Ross says it's time to roll with Pritchett and just force him to get it right. No, Ross, no, we can't do this with Pritchett. Again, he was almost unplayable today. Pritchett was the reason why our offense stalled out in the second and third quarters. Pritchett was almost the single reason why. How can you say that? How can you say that with a straight face, Ross? If you knew you'd lose Dylan if Donnie got fired, but in exchange you got an offensive line coach who could develop the 4 star lineman, I think I'd take that deal to get into the next level. I don't know. It's tough. Maybe. If TJ stays, maybe. Maybe. But again, we shouldn't have to have that conversation. We should hire an offensive line coach without worrying if our quarterback's going to leave. But unfortunately, it's a family business, man. What do you mean, Gutter's a dog? Gunner played awful today, bro. He gave a sack, multiple pressures. So I don't know what you're talking about. Gunner was awful today. He was awful versus Michigan. Does Michigan have a good D or does Maryland have a good D line? Gosh, I can't remember. I was diving into Maryland last night doing my notes for Yeah, they do. I actually they do. They Maryland as of yesterday, I think they averaged 4.3 sacks a game, which is I want to say number three in America. So yeah, I think they do. I don't know how many they had today though. I wasn't watching the game. How about Florida upsetting Texas and UCLA over Penn State? Yeah, we haven't talked about the Florida game yet, man. That was nuts. I didn't watch any of that one, didn't see any updates, but yeah, Texas, Arch Manning's not the guy at all. Not the guy. Sarkisian. There's a bunch of good, not great coaches in college football right now. None of these like high profile coaches I think are good at X's and O's. Like again, Steve Sarkisian's not a good X's and O's head coach. James Franklin's not a good X and O's head coach. You go down like Lincoln Riley, right? Ryan Day, Sharon Moore. Back in the day, that's all coaches were, great X and O's head coaches. But nowadays, it's all about recruiting. If you're a good coach, you're a good recruiter. Sarkisian's a good recruiter, but he can't out discipline, out scheme coaches, right? He can't make adjustments when it matters the most. So if you get hit, with belly very early on. He does not have the ability to win that football game. You've got to dominate from the very get go. But Florida has talent, man. Florida has talent for sure. But I don't think that changes what we already know. Florida's probably still going to fire Napier when it's all said and done. When it's all said and done. Ross is being sarcastic on Pritchett. I sure hope you are, Ross, because yeah, he was terrible, man. He was terrible. Does Henry Tufsky play? Yeah, he's a starter. He's our left guard starter. He's been pretty good. Henry probably played the best of any offensive lineman today. Like Justin Evans gave him a sack. Rocco was not good at all. Rocco really struggled, especially in the run game. But and Latovsky's had a really good season, I thought. Besides besides Cincinnati, he played pretty bad versus Cincinnati. But besides that, he's been probably our best offensive lineman for show. All right, guys, we've been going for about an hour now. Again, put your final thoughts. Again, we'll go as long as you guys have stuff to talk about. Put your thoughts in the comment section. And what other games are there today? I'm trying to think. What were the early games? Oh, okay. Vanderbilt lost to Bama. I was really, really, really hoping Vandy would pull that off. I'm trying to think. What were the other games, man? Minnesota's playing Ohio State right now. There's not too many good night games, unfortunately, this week. What were the early games? I cannot think of any of the early games for whatever reason. I don't know. Remind me. Remind me in the comment section. Remind me. But yeah, Notre Dame, Boise State. Forgot about that one. Good point. Good point. Yeah, Michigan. Yeah, I was watching the Michigan game. Yeah, Michigan. Yeah, that's not a good look for us. The fact that they only beat, I think it was 24-10 was all said and done. Yeah, not a good look for us. Not a good look. It is what it is, though. Favorite pre-post game food joints in Lincoln. I don't know. I'm not a big Lincolnite, man. I'm not a big Lincolnite. I only go to Lincoln for the games. I'm from Omaha, but um, I'd say Honest Abe's is pretty good. Lincoln, that's a burger joint. That's pretty good. We always hit up Culver's, so Culver's is pretty good. I don't know. I mean, I don't. Oh, they got that one, the Mexican place, Muchachos or whatever. That's good. I went there once. Um, Other than that, it's really about it, man. I'd say Omaha clears Lincoln when it comes to food. I mean, you compare Omaha food to Lincoln food. Omaha's here, Lincoln's like down at the bottom, man. It is what it is. Clemson, yeah, Clemson, they won big, didn't they? Against North Carolina. You're right. It's always great content. Appreciate you, Zach. Appreciate my man. Wilson, we still need to talk about Cincinnati. No, we talked about Cincinnati. Trust me. We talk, people have been giving me heck on a live stream about it, man. People have been giving me heck about it, man. Yeah, no. Yeah, again, I'll be the first to admit Cincinnati didn't look good today. That was a big win. And weren't they favored too? I think they were favored by like 1.5 points. Vegas knows, dude. Vegas knows. Man, that was a big win for them. Dante should have stayed. You're right. But again, we don't value the running back position. We had an opportunity to keep him. We had an opportunity to match what Kentucky was offering, and we said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to roll with our guys. We had an opportunity to get Shamar Brown. We didn't do it. We had an opportunity to get TJ Harden. We didn't do it. We had an opportunity to get Gavin Sawchuk, and we didn't do it. What he could have, should have, man. What he could have, should have. We need. I mean, we're going to be super aggressive in the portal after this year. Though I think you guys like. I mean, we took a lot of players in the portal this past year. We're going to take a lot more this year. I mean, we're going to. My expectation is that for this year in the portal, we're going to take at least one running back, maybe two. We're going to take multiple receivers again. That's just kind of the way it's going to go. Receiver. We're going to take multiple offensive linemen. They're not going to. They're not going to skimp out an offensive lineman anymore. We're going to take a bunch of defensive linemen. I think we're gonna load up in the secondary in the portal because we're gonna lose almost everybody in the secondary. We're gonna lose Sierra, we're gonna lose Andrew, we're gonna lose LaShawn, we're gonna lose Marquez, we're gonna probably lose Herzog unless he's redshirted. We're gonna lose all five of our starters in the secondary. So the weird thing about the portal now, man, is that the portal isn't in December anymore. It's in January. It's only like a 10-day period. So dude, January is gonna be crazy. That's honestly my favorite time of the year on the channel, dude, because that's when like the channel just goes absolutely berserk is December and January because the portal talk is ridiculous. I mean, there's just something new every single day. There's something new every day, whether it's a player leaving, players visiting, rumors, flight trackers. It's crazy. So I'm actually kind of excited. I like the off season. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the actual season, but I like the off season too because I mean, as a YouTuber, I've kind of just enjoyed all facets of it. Just it gives me. I like the portal. I like spring football. I don't know. I also like it because I have less competition on YouTube because all the other Husker YouTubers go on their vacations and we're still at it, man. We're still at it. What are we at? Likewise on the stream. Let's hit everybody. Are we at 50? Let's get to 50. If we've already met 50, let's get to 70. Everybody take a second, hit that like button on the stream. Dante had 7 yards for 9 carries today. Yeah, I know he didn't play very good last week either. That's the thing around Dante. He did the same thing last year where he had a really hot start to the year against UTEP, against Colorado, and then kind of didn't do much in the back half. It's kind of the Dante Dowdle experience. He gets banged up and it's not the same player. Did you see Cincinnati versus Iowa State? Yes, for the millionth time. Yes, we've talked about Cincinnati. Yep. I was wrong. I should just wear a shirt in tomorrow's video and say I was wrong. Cincinnati's a good team, or have that like the background or something. Because I know I'm going to get that comment. I'm going to get roasted. I'm going to get roasted. But again, I'm the most happy about it though. It makes us look good. Who are the best transfer players? I mean, barely anybody has entered the portal yet, so it's hard to tell. It's hard to know. Do we have any shot with Hunter Higgins? No. I think I can't remember. I talked with his dad. It's like 3 or 4 months ago because he committed to Kansas in January. I think I asked him. I said, "Has Nebraska contacted you at all?" And he said no because Nebraska pretty much stopped recruiting him when he committed to KU. So, yeah, we're out of it for Hunter Higgins. We'll talk about recruiting at some point this week. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna have a video specifically about the class of 26 because we're about 2 months away from signing day, and it's not looking much better, guys. So we're gonna have a very honest video about the class of 26 at some point this week. So watch out for that one. Can we use Lateef for a few series to give defenses more of a true RPO look? Raiola needs more of a power eye, play action pass with all rollouts offense. Um, I'm just not of the belief that we should put TJ Lateef in at all for any package whatsoever. Whether it's an option, whether it's an RPO, whether it's a zone read, or whether it's a direct snap, it just messes with the flow of the offense. It is crazy that we have supposedly this top 20 quarterback, and yet the conversation is, oh, we should give TJ some snaps. And like again, and I'm at the point with TJ, like I just don't want to ruin him. I don't want to ruin his confidence and have him be just purely a running quarterback. Like if his job in this offense was purely to run the football, what do you think is going to happen when he ends up starting in Nebraska? He's going to be a run first guy. TJ is a dual threat quarterback, but he's a pass first guy at heart. He's an Adrian Martinez in that aspect, better Adrian. So at some point when it's muscle memory, oh, I'm just going to run the football every single time I touch it. You're going to be a running quarterback. I mean, look what happened with Justin Fields. Justin Fields in college was a pass first quarterback. Now, ever since he got to the NFL, whether it's with the Jets or when he was a rookie with the Bears, they made him a run first guy. And now he can't throw the football with any action, with any confidence because he hasn't done that since college. So, and also, I want to preserve TJ's red shirt. Hunter Higgins isn't very good. I think Hunter Higgins is a really good prospect. I think he's a really good prospect. And at this point, man, we just need anybody on the D line. We need anybody. I don't care who it is. We need anybody. Colorado shocking TCU. Are they really? What's the score? Score. That's crazy. Is Caden Salter starting at quarterback? I mean, Colorado still has a lot of they got a lot of pieces there, but clearly they're not coached very well. Speaking of Cincinnati, Dante Corleone, the guy you hyped up, has done nothing this season. Really? I mean, well, first off, he's a nose tackle. So nose tackles don't really get on stat sheet. Second off, he's been injured all season, so that's not. I mean, that's not necessarily fair. He was a game time decision today. He almost didn't play today. I don't think he played last week or 2 weeks ago. Excuse me. How about that block? Excuse me, that punt block for a touchdown. Yeah, man, that was awesome. That was awesome. That got me fired up. It is frustrating that after that we pretty much did nothing for about 2 hours. But yeah, that was great. Again, our first special teams touchdown in 2 years. 2 years. In 2 years. Isaac Wright. Oh, you have inside scoop. He says he's played at my high school. He's played my high school, wasn't very good. Now, Isaac, are you saying that because he beat your high school and you're mad about it, or are you saying that because he actually wasn't very good? Because I think Hunter Higgins is a really good prospect. And he was like number one in Kansas in sacks last year. He was very close to that. Backup quarterback is always the most popular player on the team. You're darn right. There's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. TCU isn't very good this year. Yeah, I mean, they look good versus North Carolina week one, but anybody looks good against North Carolina. So anybody looks good against that North Carolina team. They made a huge mistake hiring Bill Belichick. And I don't understand why Bill even accepted that job. Like, why are you ruining your legacy? You could have retired, moved on from the Patriots, enjoy your life. You're a multimillionaire, and you could have went down as one of the best coaches of all time. Now that you're ruining your legacy in North Carolina, people are always going to be thinking about that when they remember you. Legacies matter, man. Where are all the Penn State fans that were trolling the chat a few weeks ago? That was crazy, man. Against Michigan, we had Penn State fans, we had USC fans, UCLA fans, Iowa fans. Yeah, those Penn State fans are weeping. They're weeping tonight, dude. And they're calling for James Franklin to be fired. Dude, after this live stream, I'm gonna watch some Penn State YouTubers because I'm sure it's gonna be so funny. Those guys are just freaking out, I'm sure. I'm sure. I feel bad for North Carolina fans. I mean, I don't really because that's a basketball school. That's a basketball school. They don't even care about football. They don't even care. Belichick is cooked. He's been exposed since he lost Brady. Yeah. Again, he's still a good coach. Like, I'm not a believer that Brady carried him. Like, the reason why the Patriots were so good for 2 decades was because of that defense. And that's because Bill Belichick at heart is a defensive minded head coach. But yeah, again, he absolutely ruined his legacy. The second they lost Tom and they had Mac Jones, they had all the other quarterbacks, yeah, it got real ugly. Jackson, I appreciate the $10 super chat. I appreciate you, Jackson. Jackson, he says, did someone bring up this Jen in the chat? Did you see the streaker? I did not. Oh, he stole Hunter's shoe. I did not see that. I didn't know that. No, I was editing my thumbnail for this live stream, and my dad saw it, and my dad gave me a hard time because I missed the streaker. But yeah, apparently there was a streaker on the field. He was like barely on the field, right? He jumped the fence and like did something for like 5 seconds and left. Oh, really? Never mind. Ran the whole length of the field. Why did the crowd not get louder then? Because you think with a streaker they would have got louder. I don't know. Archibald Manning sucks. Yeah, I mean, we should always remember this when we listen to these ESPN pundits hype up DJ Lagway and Arch Manning and Lenore Sellers and Ty Simpson and Gunnar Stockton and all these other bum quarterbacks from the SEC. We always remember them hyping up Arch Manning because he's not the guy. My question is, does Arch Manning transfer? Like, is Arch Manning going to go and like where would he transfer to? I'm sure he's going to get a destination at a Power Four school. He's not going to go like to UTSA or Houston or something, or Houston is Power Four now. But I mean, where would he transfer? I don't know. I don't know. Didn't watch the last 2 minutes of the game. Our fans stormed the field. No, we did not. We did not storm the field. That would be pretty embarrassing, dude. Belichick ruined his legacy. Oh man, Zach, you got to be like a Jets fan or something saying that. You got to be a Jets fan. I didn't like the Patriots either. I'm a Redskin fan, but man, Belichick, that's personal. You gotta be like a Bills fan or that has to be an in division hatred. Arch is young, he needs time to develop. I mean, he's in year three, is he not? He's in year three. He was a 5-star quarterback. Like I understand, obviously it takes time to develop, but man, again, at some point with these elite quarterbacks, you know if you got it or you don't got it. And he was the number one prospect in America. Bro, for him in year three to clearly be a far ways away, that is not a good look for anybody involved. Not a good look. And it's not a good look for the Texas fan base who hated Quinn Ewers. Texas treated Quinn Ewers so terribly. Like Quinn was a really good quarterback. I was always like a Quinn fan, and they hated him. They're always calling for Arch every single time Quinn messed up. Quinn led them to multiple semifinals. They were so close to the national championship game twice. And again, they constantly were calling for him to get benched. And yet when Quinn left and Arch came in, they're like, oh, we need Quinn back. Like, okay, it's crazy. It's crazy, right? Crazy how that changes. We need to figure out the run defense. Yeah, we need to figure out how to stop the quarterback scramble. I think our run defense is going to be fine versus Maryland. Maryland cannot run the football. I mean, they don't got a good running attack at all. They have one of the worst starting running backs in the Big Ten. They don't have a great offensive line, but yes, we do need to stop Malik Washington and his legs because he could definitely eat us alive. And he got a great arm too, man. He has a really, really good rocket arm. For sure. For sure, I agree with that. Hold on. Dolphins. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it was actually the Dolphins fan. I knew that was an in division hatred. You don't go in there talking recklessly if it was just nothing like that. Under Florida is 3-1 and beating KU in the rain. You got to be kidding me, Ross. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, Ross. Say it ain't so. We're at the point where Scott Frost and UCF they're gonna win like 8 or 9 games this year. And Nebraska fans are gonna be calling for him to come back. Scott Frost 2.0. He's coming back. He's learned. He's learned. He's learned from his mistakes. I wouldn't be surprised if some people do call for that though. But I agree with Isaac though. Kansas is very overrated. Very overrated. They lost Cincinnati couple last week. Does James Franklin pay the price for losing to UCLA? I don't think he pays the price now, but absolutely he's on the hot seat, and they're going to let him finish the year. But I'm of the belief that if Penn State at this point, if Penn State only wins 9 games or wins 8, which they're probably only going to win 8 at this point, they probably will fire him because you can't have all the hype and all the talent that they have and only win 8 games. That is such a disappointment. So they probably will fire him because I think Penn State fans are just fed up with this crap. Arch could start for the Washington Commanders right now. Are you kidding me, man? We got Jane Daniels. We got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Get out of here with that, my man. Granted, Jane was injured, but he's come back. Nebraska versus Central Florida bowl game would be crazy. They're setting up for it. They're setting up for it, dude. That would be so nuts. That would be so nuts. Can you imagine the lead up to that game? The media would just be grilling Scott Frost. Scott Frost is so bad at the media. He would say find a way to say something disrespectful, like accidentally, and we'd run with it. Isaac says it's easy to win the Big 12. You're right. I mean, the Big 12's horrific. Ooh, Frost says he learned how to drink, how not to drink, and do that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not addressing that comment. Do you think Dylan's tempo holding the ball long is causing the offensive line issues or straight the offensive line play? I mean, it's definitely both, but Dylan holding on the ball too long is not causing the offensive line issue. It just adds to it. The offensive line can't block in general, but when you have an offensive line that allows edge rushers to get to the quarterback in 2-3 seconds, and you have a quarterback that has a bad tendency to step up in the pocket and not throw the ball away and not scramble and try to make something happen and try to be fancy, it's a recipe for disaster. Absolutely. Absolutely. If Franklin gets fired, do you think Penn State could try to get Matt Rule? I do, for sure. I think if Nebraska only wins 6 games a year, they won't come after Matt Rule. But again, if we win 9, they will. I bet they will. I bet he'd leave, for sure. Raiola's new nickname is Walmart Mahomes. That's not new. I've heard that before. Now, you can't be calling our own guy that. You can't be calling our own quarterback Mahomes. I mean, that's what other fan bases do to try to disrespect us. You can't do that. Don't do that. You don't do that. Dylan is a good quarterback when it comes to Big Ten play. He's very average. I agree with that comment. I agree. He's a little bit above average. Put Van Poppel at right tackle. No, come on, Emerson. Come on. Heck no. Matt Rule will never leave us as the only Trojan. Again, I don't think Matt Rule will ever leave us for any other program, but I think he would definitely leave us for Penn State for sure. I think he absolutely. Tony White Deegan torch right now against Miami. I'm not surprised. They got some weapons over there. They got some weapons over there at the U. It is what it is. Don't act like it's a super good win. I agree with you. I mean, I told you guys I'm kind of frustrated about this win. We should have beaten by a lot more. Um, Again, Michigan State's not a good team. They just aren't. They don't have a lot of talent. They're not coached very well. We should have blown them out from the very get go. We had an opportunity and we allowed them to stay in the ball game. So it's pretty frustrating. Did Watson Trent ever step on the field? He did, but I mean, he didn't make any plays. He's on the milk cart, my guys. He's on the milk cart. All right, guys, put your final thoughts in the comment section. We're almost home, so I got to get off of this live. Hit that like button on the stream. If you're someone watching, listening, or not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe. Again, takes 2 seconds. Best family here in Husker YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Final stuff, final parting thoughts, guys. Put it in here. Minnesota, USC, Penn State, Iowa are going to be tough games to win. I agree. Wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly. But I still have belief Nebraska will go 3-0 in these next 3 games. We're going to beat Maryland. Well, I mean, that'll be a tough game, but we'll beat Maryland. We should beat Minnesota, and we should beat Northwestern. So, yep. Linebackers are invisible. Linebackers played well today, man. Vision Shavers had a good game. Buddha best game of the year. Hassan played well. I just really think it's Marquez. Marcus didn't play well. Wind played a major factor. We smoked them if it wasn't windy. The wind shouldn't have played that big of a factor. The wind should have not been the reason why Dylan Raiola looked incompetent for 2 quarters. I mean, you're right. You're right. The wind was a factor. We will be ranked after next week. No, we will not, Nathan. I'll bet you $1,000,000. Bet you my channel. Why does Amari Sanders never get a chance to be on the field? I just think we're really deep at corner. I think we're really deep, and our stars are playing at a high level, so it's not like it's a big deal. Wilson, stop saying prahi in your videos. You mean probably enunciate. Yeah, I'm getting worse at enunciating. I'm getting worse at it. Trust me, I get a lot of comments about it. I have a bad tendency of saying probably. Probably. That's what the kids say. They say probably. We're probably gonna do it. Yeah. I have a bad tendency. Yeah, no, I need to enunciate. You're right. You're right. You are right. We could have had double-digit sacks if it weren't for missed tackles. Yeah, we had a couple missed tackles on Childs. We had one where Nary got in the backfield and should have had one. You're right. Most likely to be ranked after blowing out Maryland. No, no, we're not. In what world are we going to be ranked? Guys? We're not even receiving votes right now in the AP poll. We're not going to receive votes next week either. No, we are not going to be ranked, guys. I would be surprised if we were ranked at 7-1 going into USC. I will bet you everything we are not ranked. Come on, guys. We will not be ranked. We will not be ranked. Carter Nelson's still bad. I mean, he had that touchdown. Shout out Carter Nelson. I mean, he's no longer on the milk carton. He had that touchdown. Granted, it was on a block punt. He just picked it up and went in. But yeah, no, he had a couple. Carter Nelson had some snaps today, though. He played a couple snaps, some out there, but he didn't do much. He didn't do anything. But you're right. Why are we not utilizing Haarberg more? Brad, I'm of the belief we should utilize Haarberg less. Whenever Haarberg has the football, something bad happens. Whether it's the fake punt or we throw him the ball and he drops it, or I think he's in the ball game too much. I'm of that belief. The commentators will hype up our opponent no matter what. You mean like the TV announcers? I mean, Maryland's going to be a good team, though. Maryland's going to be tough. Maryland's really, really competitive. So when I get the channel, are you still going to make the content? How will this work? Nathan, I will bet you everything we are not ranked next week. 100%. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Carter had a block in the back of the Jacory Barney run. You're right. That's a good point. He did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Carter. I don't get it with Carter, man. I really wish he was better. I wish he was better, but It is what it is. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. I'm almost home. We went for about an hour, 30 minutes, so good time. All right, guys, everybody, hit that like button on the way out. Final stuff. Subscribe if you haven't already. We will be back tomorrow. We'll have a video that comes out. We'll have a video around 9:30 tomorrow, 9:30 in the morning. Obviously, all the five big nuggets that we learned. It'll be a very real video. We'll keep it real. So, again, everybody, make sure to have notifications on if you haven't already. I never shout that out, but put notifications on. Because we will be live, or we won't be live, but we will have a video at 9:30 tomorrow morning. All right, guys, appreciate you guys as always. Enjoy all the games tonight. I'm about to be home and I'll watch Miami, Florida State, all the other ones going on, so I'm excited for sure. All right, guys, have a good night. Appreciate you guys as always. Enjoy the victory. That's the last thing I'll say. Enjoy the victory. A win's a win's a win. Was it sloppy? Absolutely was sloppy. Was it perfect? No, wasn't even close to being perfect. But in the Big Ten, no win comes easy. You got to take advantage of these type of teams. We should have blew them out for sure, but hey, man, a win's a win's a win. We are still 4-1. We still control our own destiny. If we win out and make the playoffs, I'll take that every single day of the week. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. Go Big Red. Go my roll. I will see you tomorrow. Hit that like button and subscribe. See you then.